All right, everyone. I have another interesting video for you today. So, Population 1, Big Box, just unveiled the Season 1 Invitational tournament that they have, where there's going to be 6 teams participating to kind of be an exhibition event and be a fun event that the devs of the company wanted to hold for the community. And them announcing this has blown up entirely for a multitude of reasons. So I'll kind of go over of what's going on, why people are mad, why there's so much drama in the community right now, and then kind of go over what I think about the whole situation. So first of all, what's going on is these 6 teams were picked, and the community themselves has no idea why these teams were picked. So everybody's up in arms about not being able to, be one of the teams that was picked. They're up in arms about not knowing that this was going to be an invitation-only tournament. A lot of people thought it was going to be an open tournament where they would be able to participate. They would be able to get their team together and formulate kind of like a plan to be able to participate in the end-of-season tournament. So a lot of people are very upset for that, for the fact that it is invite only. So Big Box essentially handpicked the 6 teams that they wanted to participate here. And a lot of people are upset that there just wasn't a lot of transparency about the event in general. So let's go over, I guess, the teams that were picked right now. So there's VRS, there's Vortex, there's MTS, there's Homeland, there's Havoc, and there's Cobra Cartel. And these 6 teams, all of them have participated in past tournaments. There have actually been weekly tournaments that have been hosted by Toiko on his Discord server, as well as MTS hosted servers previously. And there's been so much going on in the back end for the competitive community for months now. So Toiko has held weekly tournaments where it started with a kill-based system and slowly graduated once we got private lobbies to actually being able to host legitimate competitive tournaments. And I'm going to preface this by saying I don't speak for Big Box, guys. I'm just on the sidelines here, trying to come up with my own opinion of what to think about the whole matter. There have been people on these teams that have been completely attacked by the community so far, just from right? These guys didn't have a choice. These guys were picked. They don't know why they were picked either. I'm on one of these teams. I don't know why we were picked, guys. I have an idea of why we were picked, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But as a community, we're showing that, there's so much hostility here. And the hostility in general, it's okay to be upset, guys, and it's okay to there wasn't transparency. That's not acceptable. And in the future, hopefully we get transparency on this. And this is the first time that this sort of thing has been attempted. So in the future, we can get better. We can get better transparency. But for a first time event, the way that this has blown up the way it has is unacceptable in my mind. So let me go again through what I think here. And for a second time, I don't speak for Big Box, guys. This is just my personal opinion. Toiko has run tournaments for a couple of months now, and we have tournament results showing how teams have performed in these tournaments, in the kills tournaments, in the private lobbies tournaments. We have information on how all of these have performed, right? So the first tournament, Vortex placed first, MTS second, SSJ, Cobra Cartel are third and fourth. But you can see the teams here, right? So you got Supreme in here, you got Cobra Cartel, you got Vortex, people are starting to form their teams, their team names, people are trading teams, they're kind of moving around, seeing who they want to play for, and going for there. Homeland's in here. And then the top 4, Vortex, MTS, SSJ, Cobra Cartel, right? So these are the top 4 teams for this tournament that was hosted March 27th, so not too long ago now, within a month. The next tournament that was hosted, there's some people that swap teams. We have different team names now, and people are trying to figure out kind of who they're playing for and what they want their team to stand for and everything. So gold place, first place for this was Chris's Slick Nub, and this is essentially Homeland, just with a different name. MTS is up here, Cobra Cartel's up here, SSJ is up here. You're starting to see the exact same like team names be at the top. KOS is starting to get up there in the rankings. Havoc's up here in the rankings. So you're starting to see these other teams starting to place high, and you're starting to like formulate, okay, these teams are very consistent with their high placings, right? So MTS was up here. If we scroll down farther, we can see Glory, we can see a couple of other teams, Silencers, a couple of other teams like starting to form. KOS down there as well. Sixth tournament, again, and all of these brackets are fairly even, right? You got VRS and Vortex in the same bracket. You got KOS Havoc, same bracket. You got Prime Winter Booze, same bracket. KOS Bravo, same bracket. VR Syndicate, Tokyo Drift, SSJ, KOS, same bracket. Supreme, Nine Lives, Cold Stone Killers, KOS, all in the same bracket. Like all these teams are getting in, like all these brackets are fairly equal right now. And as you start to push down, right? Vortex, Havoc, move on. VRS, Random BDE, move on. Pre-Fire, BDE, Brains, move on. Winter Booze, Cockwall, M60, Go Burr, move on, right? There's a lot of these teams that are moving on, and a lot of teams that got knocked out. So like SSJ Goku got knocked out. Supreme got knocked out second round here. They got knocked out. Round 3, VRS, Vortex, like these teams are all moving on, right? Last round was Cockwall, Winter Booze, BDE, Brains, VRS, Vortex. So you're starting to see like all of the exact same names in these tournaments. So from my point of view, what Big Box has done is they've looked at all of these previous tournaments and gone, these teams have performed consistently at the highest for nearly 2 months now. We need to, we want to put on a fun event, and we don't have the time to try 100,000 people in their teams. And I know that sounds unfair to a lot of people. Everybody wanted their chance to be able to shine in this tournament. But all of these teams went above and beyond to like go out of their way to find these tournaments, to participate in these tournaments. So if you're just waiting for Big Box to throw on an event and then saying, yeah, I want to try out for that, we're going to be good. All of these other teams have put in, tens or hundreds of hours into this game in the competitive side of things, in the private lobby side of things, in these tournaments to try to turn up. So from a logistics standpoint, you guys have to take into account that Big Box is a small company. It's not a AAA company. There have been other AAA companies that have made VR games, right? Steam has made Half-Life Alyx, or Valve rather. Respawn Entertainment, the people who made Apex and Titanfall, they made Medal of Honor, and that game completely flopped because they just didn't understand the VR industry. They don't understand the VR side of things and what needs to be there in a game to make it consistent and replayable and all of that stuff here. The information just isn't there yet. So the fact that we have a game like Population 1 that has devs that are willing to, even with a small team, put in the time and energy to try to put on competitive events. And we've been waiting for competitive events for a while, right? Everybody knew that there would be a competitive event at the end of the season. And I will agree with you guys. It's not fair that, not everybody was brought into the light on what the requirements were for being able to participate in these tournaments. So I definitely side with you guys there. And hopefully in the future, right, this is the first tournament of hopefully many. If we as a community are able to show support for the game and we're able to like provide this sort of criticism, and it doesn't need to be attacks, right? There's been people on the teams that were picked that have been completely attacked, or like I've seen some horrible stuff said to some of these people. We need to, as a community, learn from this. This is the first attempt. Learn from this. Let's make the next one better. And if you guys are upset at this, definitely let Big Box know. Let them know, hey, I wanted to participate in this thing. I've been counting on this thing for a while, and I didn't know there were weekly tournaments, right? We can try as a community to pull everybody else into this sort of thing. I know a lot of the people that didn't make it into the tournament because only 6 teams were allowed to be picked are formulating a Discord group, and they're going to try to run another tournament on the same day. So all of those people that feel left out, they're trying to get those people a chance to play. And if you guys are interested in that, I definitely recommend going and trying to check that out if you want to participate. Get that tournament, up. Let's build this community up as much as we can. The people that were picked want the community to grow. We want you guys to be in the next tournament. I want you guys to go compete in that other tournament. What we're currently planning is, as of now, the people that place the highest in the big box tournament and the people that place the highest in the other tournament that's being ran, we're trying to plan like an exhibition event where we can place all of those teams against each other. So if you place high in one of the tournaments, we can actually have a legitimate, these are the best of the best teams, and we can have that fun tournament afterwards. But all of the hate and everything that's stirred up from just this entire situation has been crazy, guys. And I think as a community, we need to try to just, take a step back and say, this aspect wasn't handled properly. What can we do to make this aspect better? How can we build the VR industry? A lot of you guys might not know, but the VR industry is not large yet. The adoption of the Quest and the Quest 2 to Population 1, we needed to downgrade the graphics to be able to get it to work, right? If you guys have seen the videos on YouTube of how the graphics in Population 1 used to look, the game used to be beautiful, but they had to tone it down to be able to work on all of the other consoles, and that's not a bad thing. We are able to include so many additional people with the adoption of that, and we're able to include so many more people just into VR in general and introduce them. VR is very much in a baby state right now in terms of the competitive side of things. There's not a VR esports thing just yet. There's VR Master League, VRML, which hosts some tournaments in leagues for games like Pavlov and Onward and Contractors. And I'd love to see Population 1, appear in that as well. But we need to kind of tend this little tree and help it grow here. We need to, as a community, put our effort in to help VR grow, because where it's at right now, as I said, there aren't AAA companies that are there. These are all just people with a dream trying their best to make a game that we can all love, right? And we need to try to support them. But that's what I got for you guys today, so I'll see you on the battlefield.